recap on what we learned last week. Last week we talked about the purpose of warranties in the insurance contract, and we're able to look at what the purpose is, the intention of the insurer in putting warranty in insurance contracts, which are to mitigate the loss, to discourage negligence, and to encourage.
Because if you understand what we are doing,
please mute your mic as you join me. Peter Adebola, good evening, sir. I really appreciate you for joining me on this call. So,
good evening, ma.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for joining me. So we talked about the purpose of warranty in insurance contracts last week. And today we'll be moving on to another topic, which is we want to look at the clauses, how you can benefit from the clauses in insurance contracts. I'm sure many of us, lots of us, when we hear clauses in insurance, we're like, oh, what are they talking about? So today we want to demystify clauses. We want to have understanding of what clauses are, why insurance make use of clauses in insurance contracts. So I want to, just like, if you remember the time we talked about the principle of utmost good faith, when we're discussing the fundamental principle of insurance, you remember we talked about principle of utmost good faith, when we said that it is the principle confer a duty on the insured to disclose all material information to the risk is bringing to the insurance. And if you will recall, we also said that duty of disclosure, we said principle of utmost good faith is a duty of disclosure. And it's not only the insured that has the duty to disclose, the insurer also has a responsibility to disclose material information. So this evening, we want to look at how insurer discloses own material information to the insured. By now, if you have been following me on this program, on this meeting, we all know who the insured is and who the insurer is by now. So the way the insurer, that is the underwriting company, the way they disclose the material information to the insured is through the clauses. Now, what are the clauses? Good evening, madam. What are the we said these are, please, let's mute our mic as we join this meeting, please. Thank you very much for joining me on this call. Clauses are material information the insurer passes across to the insured in an insurance contract. That is the simple definition of what clauses are. Clauses are just the means, the avenue, I would say the language the insurer used to pass his own material information to the insured. Just like you recall when we were talking about principle of utmost good faith, when we said it's a duty of disclosure, we said insured, that is the client, the customer, the insured, they disclose the material information to the insurer through the proposal form, that they fill. Those are the avenue and other additional information that's the avenue with which the insured discloses his own material information. But the insurer discloses his own material information to the risk he has covered. He discloses material information to the insured through the clauses in the policy document. So let us look at what are the categories of clauses we have. We have two categories of clauses. We have the recital clause and the operative clause. All the clauses can be categorized into just two: the recital clause and the operative clause. This recital clause, we usually refer to it as the preamble. The preamble, that is like the introductory part of the policy document. It said the same. It said it introduces the insured, it introduces the parties in the contract, the insured, the insurer, and it gives us the title of the document, and so that is the recital clause. It says the same, and it incorporates the proposal form into the contract. That is, the recital clause incorporates brings forth its premise on the information that is provided by the insured through the policy document. So that is the recital clause. So when you hear about recital clause, just know that is the preamble, is the introductory aspect of the policy document. Now we move to the operative clause. The operative clause is the heart of the policy. The operative clause is the main clause of the policy. It describes the cover, the scope of cover in detail. It describes every information, every information the insured needs to know from the insurer regarding the cover that insured has obtained from the insurer is described in this operative clause. So the operative clause describes the scope of cover in the insurance contract you have entered with the insurer. So we have a lot of, just like I've told us that the clause adjusts the means, the language the insurer used to describe, to pass the information to the insured. So this evening, let's look at few of the clauses. We have the exclusion, we call it exclusion clause or exception. You see, this exclusion, I hope you can all hear me. I hope you can relate with what I'm saying. This exclusion, can you all hear me, please? I need the response in the house.
Yes.
Thank
yes,
you so
we
much.
can.
The exclusion.
You.
Okay, thank you so much. The exclusion and exception, we always use this interchangeably, but there's a thin line of difference between them. When we talk about exclusion generally relates to those perils that are not covered in the insurance market. We call them market exclusion. No example of such, the war, sonic bomb, explosive nuclear exposure, radioactive contamination, terrorist attack. That is those fundamental risks that insurance don't cover. We call them exclusion. War. I mean, when war occurs in the country, it is not the duty of it is the duty of the government of the land to ensure there's protection, there's security of life and property and all that. So all these things are not generally covered in insurance policy. So we call them market exclusion. So that is actually what we refer to as exclusion. But when we talk about exception, they are policy specific. They are policy specific. That is, when you look at let's say for instance, in a fire policy, when you have a fire policy to cover fire, fire and maybe the special period also. So if there's let's say that your house got caught fire and there's a loss as a result of fire, and the building is raised down, and the car, maybe the car that is parked in the compound is raised down, the fire policy that covers the building will not cover the car, although the car was inside the building. So because there is a motor policy. So we will say that car, the motor policy is an exception in a fire policy of building. I hope you can relate with the example I'm trying to bring out. So exceptions are policy specific. They are not the general market exclusion. So like when, let's say maybe in an office, you insured the items in the office and all that. Jewelry, the insurance of jewelry in an office environment will be an exception. I hope you can relate with that. It will be an exception because that jewelry, jewelry is not things you find in the office, maybe your gold or something. So that jewelry will be an exception. So insuring jewelry in an office, in an office insurance is an exception. Kindly mute your mic, please. Once you join us, please mute your mic. I really appreciate you for joining me. So policy exceptions. I hope you can relate with the difference between exclusion and exception. But generally, we just always look at them as, oh, these are exclusions. But because that is the purpose we have this program. I told us that this program is out to bridge the knowledge gap in the insurance industry and to those languages of insurance, to bring it, to break them down for us. So under another clause we want to look at this evening under operative clause is condition. You will agree with me, 2 and 3 weeks ago, we talked about condition. So if you have been following me on this program, by now, I believe you all understand what conditions are. Then we talked about 3 types of condition, or stages of condition. That we have condition precedent to the contract, we have condition subsequent to the contract, and we have condition precedent to the liability of the underwriter. And we're able to, we use 2 weeks to talk about conditions. So it's still under. So we all understand what conditions are by now. So another one is warranty. Last week, you agree with me that last week we talked about warranty, when we talked about the purpose of warranty in insurance contract. We said the purpose of warranty in insurance contract is to mitigate the loss, to discourage negligence on the part of the insured, and we talked about that the purpose of warranty is also to encourage good moral hazard, because you know that bad moral hazard is what will influence the operation of the peril, but good moral hazard will reduce the likelihood of the loss occurring. After this, after my presentation, I will pick your call. I will call on you. You wanted to ask your question, but please let me finish the presentation. Thank you very much for raising your hand. So last week we talked about the warranty, and we're able to talk about the purpose of warranty. That the purpose of warranty in insurance contract is to ensure that the loss does not occur intentionally, that the loss that insurance cover is unintentional loss. So the warranty is the undertaking by the insured that, I will ensure that this loss does not occur intentionally. So also another clause we look at is policy schedule. This policy schedule describes it gives the full description of the insured. That's why you will see the name of the insured, the policy number, the premium paid that was paid. The policy schedule, it gives you the full description of the insured. So under the schedule, you will see what the risk that is being covered, the description of that risk, every information you need, all the material information about the particular of the insured you will find it under the schedule, under the policy schedule. Then the last one we'll look at is definition. We call this also definition clause. Under this definition, that is when every word that has been used will be defined. The meaning of all the terminologies, all the terminology that is being used will be defined. So this, just like I've told us, clauses are just the way, the means through which the insured passes across his own material information. So I want to believe that when next you are going into insurance, at least with this understanding we all have now, by discussing these clauses this evening, I've been able to demystify for us policy wordings. We call it policy wordings in insurance. The policy, although we've talked about clauses, we've talked about condition, we've talked about warranty. These are policy wordings. I've been able to break them down for us. So I believe that by the time with this understanding, when next you are going into insurance contract, you'll be able to, you'll be conscious of all these terminologies, and you look out for them and you read them, because they are written in black and white. By the time you now take your time to look at them, you will understand it very well. And if you still don't understand, that's why you have your intermediary, your brokers or your consultants. If you go into an insurance contract and you have your documents with you, you don't really understand what they are talking about, what your policy document is talking about, your broker, your consultant, your intermediary will further break it down for us. So that is what we mean by this evening. I've been able to talk about the clauses in insurance contract, and I've said that they are categorized basically into two, which is recital clause and an operative clause. So I want to believe that with this understanding, we have better understanding of all these concepts in insurance. Thank you very much. At this time, I want to, because of our time, I want to give room for question now. So you and Adeleke, madam, please, can you ask your question now? So who else wants to ask question?
My name is Peter Adebola. Can I talk?
Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for today's presentation about how to benefit from the clauses in insurance contract.
Okay, sir.
But the question I want to ask is this: that you see, at times when you buy an insurance policy, you see that when they want to write some of these clauses, they write it in such a way that you will not be able to read, because some of them will be written in, with font size that is very small. That when you are reading, you just rush through all those clauses in the policy documents. Now, when it comes to making claims, that's when they will now begin to bring all those clauses out that you didn't read clause so and so and so. And some insurance companies, they write all these clauses in such a way that in the policy document, there are just too many, that you may not be able to read everything as at the time you are buying this insurance policy. Yes, I understand that it is the duty of an insured to make sure that you read all the clauses in the policy document. But at times, you see, insured, they don't have that patience to go through all these things. They just sign, and probably the person that come to market you too did not even have time to explain all these things to you. And when it comes to issue of claims, then they now begin to bring out, that's when they would not have patience to explain to you that this clause, and all these clauses and in the insurance policy documents. And because of this, they won't be able to pay claims. What is your advice to those of us that are insured, that are buying insurance policy, how we can escape all these, what I can call trickish way of formulating insurance documents? How do you think we can navigate our ways out of this challenge that we have?
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Yes, the clauses, there are many, but that is why I've tried to first of all demystify it by telling us first that these clauses are just a means for the insurer to pass across his own material information. Yes, he said they are written in small letters, but the recent documents now, they are no longer written in those tiny letters, because even the insurance, they are just like I've told us that insurance is evolving. Yes, it has also evolved to the days of writing it in tiny, tiny letters. It's gradually fading out because there's what we call proliferating rule too in insurance, that if you construe your wordings that in such a way that people will not be able to understand it, you are just on your own. So that, and also that's why I said you say you have your broker to actually interpret these things to you. That's why I said even when if you read this and you don't understand, you have your intermediary, your broker or your consultant to interpret, to read it out to you and to give you the meaning, to really interpret it to you. Just like when you go to a medical doctor, if you are not able to diagnose your ailment, that's why you go to the doctor in the first place. So it is when you not tell your doctor that this and this is happening to you, that you'll be able to prescribe the right drug. So also that's why you have your intermediary, your broker, your consultant to interpret the wordings of the policies, those clauses and everything, to give you full understanding, to give you full interpretation. Because as the insured, you have a duty. You can say, oh, if you don't understand the terminology of the insurance, you can put it back to them that no, I don't understand this thing. And it's the duty of the insurer, of course this time around through your broker, to really give you the full understanding. So from the beginning, you need to even understand all those things. When you read this, you don't understand it, you can call upon your intermediary, your broker, to give you full understanding of what it is. And that is why we are professional in the industry, just like you have your doctors who are professional in their own right to attend to their patients. So also with the broker, we are professional in our own right to be able to interpret the wordings of the policy onto our clients, onto the insured. I hope you have been able to. Have I been able to answer your question, sir?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
I think I can ask my question. Please, now.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, well done, madam, for what you're doing.
Yes.
You said?
No, I'm greeting my senior colleague.
Okay, in the course.
Okay.
Okay, in the course of the delivery of your session, you explained the fact that when you were explaining different operational clauses,
operative clause,
insurance clauses, right?
Okay.
The first one you talked about exclusion and exception.
Okay.
Exclusion, very logical, but yes, with the example you gave, very logical, that when there is a war outbreak or something like that, insurance does not have any, that it's not the problem of the insurance to cater for. Yeah. But the example you gave under exception, okay. You said if I insure my jewelries and something happens to it in my place of work or my office or something, the insurance is not going to do anything about it. That's what I decoded from what you said. So I'm now looking at it that if I insure my jewelries and I decide to wear it to my office and something happens to the jewelries in my office, okay. And having been insured, the jewelries been insured, my premium well paid and all of that, are you now saying that because the jewelry it did not get lost or something didn't happen to it in the house? I didn't get it. I just want you to throw more light on that.
Okay. Let me quickly answer that. Yes, you didn't really understand what I said. When I said exception, I made an example of maybe just like you insure things you'll be insured in your office, and maybe you insure content, office content, maybe your desk, your laptop, all this office content, and let's say a fire happened. The fire policy of the office is what we will respond to those items that got damaged in the office. But your jewelry insurance, you would have insured your jewelry. It is your jewelry insurance that will respond to the loss or damage to your jewelry, not the fire policy of your office, of the content, the content in your office. Do you understand?
Okay.
Do you get it?
Yes. I understand. Mr.
Fatima Ebero, please, do you have anything to say to that?
Yes. Thank you, madam.
Yes.
It depends on the type of policy you have, and more often than not, when you have jewelries, wristwatches, and what have you, including your phones, because you move around with those items, they are expected to be covered under what is called all risk. So when you have all risk cover, that's wherever you go. If anything happens to it, if you are attacked by armed robbers or thieves and they snatch or damage it, your policy will pay. It's your own personal
That's
policy.
what
So the most important thing is for you to engage your brokers. If you just cover it under household items like fire and burglary, it means they are only covered while in your home.
In your home.
But when you have all risk, wherever you go, within certain jurisdiction, maybe in Nigeria and occasionally abroad, if anything happens to those items, they are covered by your policy, all risk policy.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Fatai Degoro. Omotola, Madam Wande, I hope you have understood the.
Yes, I'm fine.
Because of our time.
Yes, ma'am.
Please ask your question.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. You spoke about exclusion and you spoke about
Exception.
War and natural disasters and all. But I know that from HMO insurance, with my experience in HMO, I know that they usually also talk about exclusion, which is a list of medical care or medical procedures or surgeries that are not covered under the list of benefits to the lives that are insured under HMO. So I wanted to know if there's a difference between that type of exclusion and the one you mentioned in your presentation.
Okay, Mr. Fatai, please, you have the floor, sir.
Okay, thank you. You know, most policies are standard policies. Okay. They have their basic covers, and the basic covers will not provide all risk. Even all risk have exclusions. So it means for you, some of those items or perils excluded can be bought back. Basically, they will tell you riot, civil commotion is not covered under fire policy. But if you pay extra premium, it can be bought back into, that's included, reintroduced into the main cover.
Okay.
You get it? So, so those exclusions just form outside the basic cover, just like the HMOs you are talking about. Each group has limited cover depending on amount you are paying as premium.
Yes, I understand.
Gold, silver, blah, blah. But if you pay additional premium, you can be upgraded to the next higher grade. So if you want certain ailments covered that have been basically excluded in the main cover under HMO, you have to pay additional premium and they will now bring it into your main cover or give you another group or higher group so that you can enjoy that cover in case of any eventualities. So, you know, the clauses or the conditions are just to guide both parties to the contract, for each party to know its obligations and rights, what is expected of you, and how to go about claims. So you have to do your own right, the underwriters have to do their own right. So they know their obligations, you know your own obligations. Whenever there is any event that could give rise to a claim, you know how to go about it. The steps to be taken are stated in the policy documents. So just like the first man that talked, what he harbors in mind has to do with things of the past. All the policy are now written boldly. They are boldly written, and everybody should endeavor to read the content of the contract it's entering into. Ignorance is no excuse in law. So, but you can save yourself that hassle. Get a professional to do the job for you. He will now brief you. These are the covers you have. And whenever there's any event that could give rise to a claim, that professional, who is your broker or your consultant, will take it over from there. You save yourself the hassle. It's just like getting a lawyer to do your prosecution for you. So that's the most important thing, is for you to get a professional person to do it. And at the same time, you have to show interest in something that concerns you. It has to do with our life. Most of the things we owe, we don't appreciate them until we lose them. They tell me, what is this shoes? What are these clothes? But when those clothes are burnt or stolen, then we know that, okay, they have values. So I'm just enjoying us to cultivate the habit of going through the policy documents. Anyone that is not clear, you ask questions before claim crystallizes. So that's my little contribution to it.
Thank you very much, sir. Omotola, I believe you've been adequately attended to. Our time is up. I've received signals that our time is up. I really want to appreciate every one of us that joined. I cited Madam Alamu Grace. Thank you, ma'am, for joining me on this call. And I really want to appreciate everyone that have joined me on this call. I really want to say thank you. My contacts are on the screen. You can reach out to me, info@graceojoblog.org, or reach out to my firm, info@bimboconsultancyservices.com, or you can call me on 08026940605. Then all these sessions are being recorded and uploaded in my YouTube. You can watch the previous ones on Grace Ojo blog channel. I really want to say thank you for everyone that has participated in today's meeting. I really want to say thank you. I want to see everybody. Oyojo, Mr. Makadegoro, Akim Pagero, Rafiu Afolabi, everyone that has joined me. I really appreciate you. I want to say good evening and have a wonderful evening. Join me next time, this same time next week, 5:30, between 5:30 and 6 p.m. on every Wednesday. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, everyone. Mm-hmm.